are?
All right, we're live with the Hickman Brothers, and
안녕하세요.
man, it's been a while, man. Like, what you guys been doing? Like you guys been missing in action.
Been doing some traveling.
Where you guys been? Because you guys are brothers, but it's like Phuket is your home base, but you guys go in different directions, and then it's like Voltron or some shit like that. So, like, where you guys been? I talked to Frank, but I think George has been around to more locations, right? So where you been the past few months?
Oh, mate. Um, in April, we were both at UFC 236, and then I went to UFC St. Petersburg. And then I was in Singapore for one championships, and then I was in Abu Dhabi for Abu Dhabi Warriors, and then in Bangkok for one FC. That was all like within 1 month. It was back to back weekends, like 5 weekends. And then most recently, I was in Japan for Ryzen, and Kansas City, Missouri the next week for Invicta, and then the next day for UFC. What UFC? Frank was there also for Tattoo Vasa. Um,
236.
yeah, in Chicago.
238.
Yeah, so we were both there for that. So we run into each other occasionally on the road.
Yeah, that's kind of a trip, huh? You guys are living in the same place, but then you guys run into each other outside the country.
Yeah, we work
You
together.
know,
We train the same people, but sometimes we end up cornering different people. So
Same thing happened in Atlanta.
yeah, he was there with Israel, and I was there with Khalil. So yeah, it's man, we're both really busy, and things are like picking up. Tiger's got a lot of people and a lot of good fighters coming, and the Hickman brothers are training a lot of good people. So it's a good thing.
it's crazy to think like we talked, not even maybe like a year ago, and you guys were just like kind of basically starting out, with like working with these bigger names, but now it's like a normal thing,
Yeah.
within a year. It's like, how do you manage all of that shit? Like it's a lot of shit to manage. Cause I know you're busier because it's like I used to talk to you a lot more before, but now I can't even get you on the line and shit. Like, what the fuck's going on?
No, I guess we kind of got it down as not a system, but more of a balance where if one of us has to travel, if I got to go to New Zealand or if I go to Australia, if I go to, Rio where I went with Volk, something like that, like I'll go do the traveling and that, um, and then come back. But for the most part, like George will stay. He's here for the majority of the time, if not all the time. When he goes to corner somebody, that's different. So he can handle that part of it. If I got to go out for, like I said, a week, 2 weeks to go help Bulk, or I'll go help Izzy again, or when I go help Ty and everything like that, like that's we make that work. And Tiger, unfortunately, Tiger lets me do that. So we kind of got a little system down to where we know where we can go.
We're mobile, baby. We go
Yeah.
mobile.
We know where
Well,
we
I
can.
don't go mobile. I just go to corner people. But Frank goes and trains people and stuff. So it's good, man. It works out well, and it's for me. It's what since I moved here and had the idea of Frank coming out to help, and finally when he came, it's working out well, and I think it's showing in the performances of the fighters. Um, yeah, it's we complement each other well, and we work well. Obviously, we argue and fight occasionally, but at the end of the day, man, we're brothers, and uh, it's for me, it's awesome to because this is my home now. It's awesome for me to be able to coach with him on a daily basis, whether it's the beginner class, where we're teaching beginners, or whether it's our professional class, or whether we're game planning and watching film together for guys that we have coming up with fights, and we're working together. It's for me. It's I'm living life.
I think a lot of it
Uh,
too is everything takes time. I think anything we're doing or anything you want to be successful at, it just takes time. And I don't think we're at the point where we want to be, where we
No.
need to be. But I
Yeah.
think it just took time to get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? It took time to get our name out there. It took time for kind of our work or our craft to kind of speak for itself. It took time for guys to notice and to bring us. We had like the guys here. everybody's doing well right now, and I think that's just it's starting to kind of get more notice. And it
says the anti guy. I'm the laid back one. That's always like, bro, it takes time. It takes time. But no, he's right, man. I think that it's the first year that he was here, things, it was cool having him here and we were starting to do our thing. But now it's really like we're getting in the groove of things and how things work. I think we have like systems in place now that we use, and I think it's, the more fighters that we come in contact with that come here to train, and Frank and I build relationships with them and rapport, and I think it's just we're going to continue to have more people come, and it's not not just us. I would say obviously like we're the Hickman Brothers or whatnot, but all the coaches at the gym that we work with, Rafa, Alex, and Sam Baston and John Boy, the boxing coach, and Tariq's been helping out with jiu-jitsu. So it's just like it's all of us combined together, not only us, but everybody working together as a team. It's good. It's producing results, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, let's move on to some topics, like we should discuss, because I know you guys have been watching. You guys watch everything that's going on in MMA, or most of the shit that's going on, because if you're on social media, you know what's cracking. So let's talk about Desi Green, man. Like, you guys both know Desi Green.
Yeah,
I
wrestled Desi Green.
Growing up wrestling, you wrestled him, George, in the past. You know what I mean? Now think about, I wanted to get your thoughts on him and like what he's going through. Like, when you heard the news, like, what was your reaction to like him getting, arrested and like getting charged with like 19 counts? That's crazy for, a dude that's in the UFC that has like a promising future. What'd you guys think?
I thought initially I was like, right when I first saw the article, like, cause obviously Frank and I, like, Frank cornered Maribek last fight, and we both train him, and like Frank found out about the car accident, or we both did, and then like it was like, man, no, we didn't think he was going to be able to fight, but he still fought against Maribek, and when the news just recently came out in the last couple of days, for me initially I was like, man, fuck, that really, man, that sucks for him, but he made his bed, he's got to sleep in it. What really sucks is for the families, man, that the people that were killed and things like that. Like, it's very unfortunate, and of course, like, he's not like my personal friend. We don't hang out. Like, I've wrestled the guy, I know him like enough to say hello if I saw him. So I don't have a close relationship with him, but still, like, you kind of feel like bad that he did what he did, and he's like ruined his life for the foreseeable future. But you really feel bad for like the families, man. Like, it's very sad.
Yeah, I would say basically everything George just said. When we heard the news last year, I'm surprised they even had the fight. I'm surprised that he was, because it happened 3 weeks before. I rocked up on a Monday and I showed Woody. I was just like, oh, because this kid sent it to me, I know. And I saw it and I read it and I was just like, oh man, this is shitty. Like, guess there goes the fight. But no, a week went by, nothing happened. 2 weeks went by, nothing happened. I saw he was in Moscow, and I said, man, they're gonna have the fight.
Which is crazy. Like, now he's got a gang of charges of like all this shit. But like, how did they not like know that within like the police? Like, I feel like in America, man, like, they don't. It's not like Thailand where you can pay your way out or something like that. Like, in America, like, I was just speaking to my one friend earlier. We were talking about like jaywalking, and like when I go back now, like I don't even want to jaywalk because I don't want to get a ticket for some bullshit, And it's like, because here you can get away with whatever, and a lot of other countries. But man, like, just that he was able to fight that, that like 2 weeks after, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
Man. Like, yeah, go ahead.
Those charges ain't nothing light either. There's nothing sweet about those charges. So
that's a game changer, man. That's a life changer.
It's pretty disturbing. He's
definitely going to do time
to read, because you don't wish that on anybody, especially somebody like you had said who's got a bright future. They are a promising future. They're on a 2-fight win streak. You know what I mean? So it was when I read the news and stuff like that, I kind of thought it was all hushed under the bridge. But then when everything came out, it was just one of those things where I say, man, like, that's shitty. But you know, as Bruce says, my dad, you live with the consequences of the decisions you make. And unfortunately, some of them can be shitty, and that's just one of them. That's, you know, pretty cut and dry. So, but like George said, you feel for the families that it's happened. And again, it could have happened to anybody, but it's just unfortunate that this kid got a promising future in MMA. You know what I mean? And like he said, we don't know him, but you know, he was the weight class below me every year.
We still know him
below every year.
Yeah, like cool enough to be like, hey, you know, what's up, Desi? How are you doing? Like, you know, what's been going on? But not like know him. But still, it's
probably hit the hookah. You know.
Man, it's just, yeah, that's. I don't wish that upon anyone, and obviously, again, the family is like, man, it's really, really sad.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like his last fight, he fought in his hometown, right? And I got to interview him before that fight. And yeah, man, like I appreciated that he even allowed me to interview him. And I even kind of forgot about all of that, you know, because it was so long ago. And I didn't even ask him about like what's going on with that, because I would have if I remembered. But it was, you know, it was like water under the bridge in a way. We, you know, people,
right?
You know, people forget fast in this day and age. You know, you're on social media, everything changes every hour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's new shit all the time. So it's like you forget the old shit and new shit comes in.
Especially MMA fans, like MMA people forget real quick, like things that have happened in the past. And yeah, man, that's like, it was like, because you heard about it and then you didn't hear anything else about it. So it was just like everyone forgot about it. And then all of a sudden this news came out in the last 5 days or so. That's like, holy shit.
And DUI manslaughter, that's driving under the influence manslaughter. And then they found weed and then like cocaine and they had found alcohol and drugs in the system and cocaine in the car. That's what it says. That's what the officials say about what's going on with that, right? So, you know, this is what I'm going to say. Even though I think, you know, Des Green, when I talked to him, he was very cool and all that. With that said, man, like nobody puts alcohol in your body. Nobody puts drugs in your body. Like you do that shit on your own, man. And you do that shit on your own, and you get in the car on your own, and you drive that car on your own. And if you hit somebody and kill them, that's on you. You know, it's like hard to dispute that shit. Like if that shit really happened like that, it's hard to dispute, man. It's like if he has some lawyers and you know, you need to be, you know, papered up. Like you need to have some money to fight this case and not go to jail, not go to prison. And prison is not a good place for anybody to go to, man. But 2 people are dead, so someone got to pay, you know.
And it was 3 weeks before, like the fight happened. So it's kind of just, you know, one of those situations where, kind of what were you?
Yeah, what were you doing? What were you doing 3 weeks before the fight?
Yeah, what were you doing 3 weeks before the fight?
And again, like you smoke weed, okay, but like drinking and driving and got
just
white in the
shitty
car.
situation, man. You feel for them, but it's a catch-22 because you feel for the victims as well. But
yeah, man. Well, it's shitty, man, and you know, the families with 2 dead people in their family now is just like fuck, man. It's you can't even, you know, fathom like what they're going through and what they've been going through while this, you know, while they're trying to figure out like what actually happened on that road, you know, where they died, you know. So now they kind of get some closure. Now they just have to see what happens with this case. So, you know, what can you do? You know, let it lie, I guess. Now, moving on from that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we got all gruesome, I don't know, not gruesome, but we got all like down and shit now, you know what I mean? Like, come on. You know, like can't be getting down on it, you know, on the conversation. But you know, what else has, you know, what, you know, like you guys been to a bunch of cities, right? Now, with all the cities you've been to, what's like the shittiest place you went?
India.
No, I mean like recently. Of course it's India, but I'm saying
recently.
Like the food's terrible, like you just didn't like that place, man. It was just like, you know, we could always say good places, but come on, give me some shitty places.
Most recently, like in the last couple of months that I've been was in Kansas City, Missouri. But the only reason that it was like shitty is number one, because I was like super sick. And number two, because Invicta decided to throw us out in like near the airport. Like the place that I went last time that I was with Loma and Mallory when they fought was like right in downtown. And it was like all redone. Like there were like cool restaurants and cafes and bars and stuff. And the place that we were at was just like not a nice hotel. And it was like in the middle of nowhere where you had to get a shuttle to go anywhere. It was like on the side of an interstate. So you can imagine how shite that was. So yeah, that was definitely the shittiest place that I've been.
I'd say the Beijing airport. Man, it was horrible. I flew in from Chicago to Newark to supposed to go to Hong Kong, but I missed my flight, so they rerouted me through Beijing, and I touched down, and I had to get a visa to go to the next terminal, and it was just a shit show. The food was horrible. The people were despicable.
He was so angry.
My body was just shutting down on me. It was all around just a horrible trip back, and I would say that airport is probably one of the worst places I've ever been. Ever.
Well, I guess if you've been to the airport in Incheon in Korea, you know, like usually a lot of the flights they stop over in Korea, right? When you're like going out to the States or something from
Thailand. I flew to Seoul, Korea on my first time coming. I landed in Seoul to Phuket, and I love Seoul, Korea. I love the airport. They did a show. They did the whole nine. They were walking through. There was great, everything.
Got the Taco Bell.
It was great. However, this past time coming through when I went to Beijing, it was not something I want to experience again.
You're gonna be watching your layovers and shit, huh?
Yeah, bro. Even for me, like if I'm going to corner someone, it's like a smaller show, like because I hear guys sometimes talking about like, oh, so and so had a 30-hour layover. Like, number one, if I was fighting, I'd be like, yeah, you can ram that 30-hour layover up your ass because I'm not fighting with a 30-hour layover in an airport. But bro, if I had a 30-hour layover and I was going to corner someone, Alex Shield or somebody else would be going, not me. That's ridiculous. Like nobody should have a 30-hour layover or a 40-hour layover. That's insane.
But if you ever like check flights, right? You ever check flights, the cheapest ones are like the ones that take like, usually the flight, if it's direct, it's like 6 hours. But then you see and you scroll down and like the cheaper the flights get, then you see like it takes like 40 hours and shit for a 6-hour direct flight.
That's what I mean.
The layovers, the cheaper ones are always the biggest layovers. But
like I think the worst layover I've had was maybe like 5 or 6 hours. But can you imagine like going to fight and having to cut weight and having over a 24-hour layover? Like that's insane. That's absolutely. But I know guys that like recently, as in the last couple of months, that have fought in China that have had those layovers. Like, knock on wood, thank God I've never had that. Like when I fought in China before, I've never had a layover like that. But man, that is ridiculous.
Well, let's talk about Ty, man. Like UFC 238. Frank, you guys were out there. Ty went out there. He fought a tough fight. What did you think, man? Like, what do you think of his progress and like what's next for him?
Obviously it wasn't his night. He didn't get the W. He fought a tough guy. That black boy, he's no slouch, man. He's tough. He's seasoned. I think he's just a soldier, as Ty said it. He is, man. He's a tough cunt. And just didn't go his way. I think there was some positions on our feet. He got dropped in the first early. I think it kind of rattled him a little bit. His takedown defense looked good. He was getting him on the cage. It looked good. Maybe he held him too long on the cage. Maybe the guy was catching his breath. There was a phase there in the second round where he licked him a couple times, and I saw he kind of maybe wobbled him, where he kind of stumbled a little bit, and then Ty went in on him, and he was real good if Ty would put him on the cage. He would lock and hold on and kind of just squeeze. You know what I mean? And he would hold. He was catching his breath. He wasn't working. We weren't working, but at the same time, we were kind of both doing the same thing. And just clean up some stuff on our feet as far as the stand up and all that goes. And but again, just wasn't his night at the office. He's still young, still figuring some things out. But like I said, it's all in with the Usos. I think his next one. I don't know when his next one will be. I haven't heard anything about the Melbourne card, but he had some little injuries in that he fixed, adjusted, or kind of took a point to take care of in that, and back up on the horse, getting back to it. I know he's back training, so that's good. And the next day his leg was a little banged up. I think Blackwood's was too. They had a good scrap. They did. I know he gave up one takedown at the end when he got him he got behind him, he slipped me down, he came back up, and he slid, he came right back up just like we had drilled. So,
man, he's getting better.
For people to say that his wrestling isn't where it needs to be, his wrestling is definitely come a long way, and it's great. I think his wrestling's great. You know what I mean? I think it really showed. I think that's one of his stronger points, and it's just
Ty's still young, man. Like, not only is he young, but he's also young as in how many fights he's had. I can't remember exactly what his record is, but he's still pretty young, and he's every time is a learning experience. And obviously, the last two haven't gone his way. JDS is no slouch by any means, and has a ton of experience. And Ty was getting the better of him, and I think he learned from that loss, and I'm sure he'll learn from this most recent loss as well, and he'll come back stronger. He's the potential and the ceiling for him, man, it's very high. Like he has, he's going to continue to grow as a fighter and grow as a person, and he's still not only young in age, but again in his fighting career. So I think he's gonna continue to get better and better. And obviously we know him and we're biased towards him, but I truly believe that his striking, you can't deny how good his striking is. And I think he had an off night his last fight, and he'll be back strong.
From the area.
Yeah. From like from me, like from somebody that's from sitting on the outside looking at you guys and looking at Ty, everything is true about him being young in the game. He doesn't have as many fights as almost everybody that he fights, right? Everybody that he fights way more experience. Yeah. He hasn't been training as long as them at all. Like he just started. He's just starting. You know what I mean? Like, so the UFC is probably looking at him like as kind of like a project. Like if he wins and he moves up the ladder quickly, great. If it takes a little bit of time for him to develop, great. I think that's the way that they're looking at him as. You know what I mean? Because there's not many young heavyweights out there that they can develop into champions.
He's 10-2. And 9 of them he's knocked out in the first round.
And how many of those?
Arlovsky went the full distance, and then he lost to JDS. He lost to Blackboard.
Yeah, he was like 6-0 or 7-0 coming into the UFC. That's not a lot of fights. And how many of those did he knock out in the first round? You know what I mean? Like he's very young, and I think like you said with the UFC, I think they want to build him up, and he's got personalities. He's a good-looking heavyweight. Like he's got a lot of things going for him.
So talk good shit.
Yeah, I think that they definitely. I agree 100% with what you said. Like they want to build him up, and even as like being a part of his camps and helping coach him, I think that he's in the couple. Like I've known Ty since I moved to Thailand, but I've only been involved helping him. Not the last fight, but the couple fights before that when he got in the UFC, and I think that he's. He's matured a heap since I first met him. As I think every camp he gets more professional and take things more serious and really gets better at every single camp. So, yeah, man, I think he'll be fine. And like you said, I think the UFC is going to build him up and he'll do just fine. I mean, obviously it's already, with his performances other than his last fight, with the wins that he's had and his fight against JDS until the end, he was very promising. So I think he'll be fine.
What do you make of this whole mess with him and Willis?
Man, I think that they just need to fight. That's all it is. You're in the fight game. You talk shit back and forth. You just need to fight, man. They're kind of like in a similar, like level, I think, as in like ranking wise in the UFC. So
Yeah.
why not have them fight? You know, but there's no rush.
Or
And
Big
I don't
Titty?
even know if Willis is even signed to the UFC. Is he still signed to the UFC? I thought he got released or some shit.
I think Big Titty got released.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. But it seems like some people still think he's signed to the UFC. Now, going back to Ty, man, he has the best IG live.
Mate,
Like when he brings people in,
it's
like I
funny
don't know
you
if
say
people
that, 'cause
know about this shit, man. Like
I
people
come
need
home
to get up
sometimes.
on Ty's IG and start
It's
following
crazy.
him whenever he goes live. Watch when he goes live because he just brings in random people
He just
and just
roasts
starts
them.
talking shit, starts roasting them. Hey, did you see the one where he had like I think it was like Anthony Rumble Johnson's manager, the white dude was saying that he was Rumble Johnson's manager
Hey,
and he was talking mad shit to Ty, like go ahead, no big titty, and I, then you don't know who I am. I'm Rumble Johnson's manager, and I was just like, is he telling the truth or not? I don't even know. I couldn't even tell, man. I could see him being Rumble Johnson's manager because he was like this hood ass dude, but white dude, but he sounded like he's from like the dirty South, like hood ass white dude from the dirty South. So it could be his manager. I don't know, but I don't even know who Rumble Johnson's manager is.
Like white boy Rick.
I've come home.
Yeah, straight up.
White boy Rick was the truth. I've come home before and I've seen George like rewatching his live videos of when he goes live, just roasting people.
Bro, that's so
And it's
funny.
crazy because when it first started, I felt bad for like the dudes. I was like, damn. I was like, these dudes are like his fans. Like he's just like full on just roasting these dudes. But the more it got into it, like these people love it. Like the kids like love it. Like they'll answer. They'll be in school. He's like, what are you doing? Like, oh, we're in school. He's like, I'll go to class. And then the next one will come in. He's just like, he's the ugliest cone. He's like, look at this guy's forehead. And I'm just like, man, this is too much. I was like, he's just roasting these boys.
So
But everyone loves it. Like they love to get roasted. They'll call in and they'll try this, they'll try that. But it's good. I think again, like I think he does well with it. He's one of those people that he doesn't really change just because the camera's on or he's going live on Insta. He would roast me like that if I was to call in sometime. It's funny because I'll go live sometimes and I'll have 4 people and then he'll like ask to join me. As soon as I join, it just jumps. It just goes 200, 300, 400 people and it just gets the lights up. So when he jumps in, I don't ever mind. Hey.
Yeah, man. Like the first time or the second time I interviewed him, he roasted me. So I was just like, I felt like I was honored and shit. Like, if he's gonna roast me, then it's all good, But I want to meet him in person. I want to roast him in person. I want to get next to him, and
I want you to
because it's nothing like being next to somebody when they're trying to roast you. Because you gotta come back. You gotta have something in the barrel.
You should fly to Sydney just to interview him and do like a sit down and then hang out with him for like 2 or 3 days when he's not in fight camp.
I wish, man. I wish. Well, whenever he's out there, like just hanging out, not in fight camp, just training a little bit, maybe I might just pop in down there and hang out a little bit,
you should.
go around with him.
How'd the podcast go with Vault? For the Vault?
Yeah, Volk, man, like Volk's in a interesting position. Because you got like a bunch of these other flyweights now fighting and winning and kind of trying to stake a claim into Volk's position. Volk, yeah, he does have the #1 contender, but with the UFC, you never know. You never know what they're gonna do because they can say Volk is the #1 contender, and then 2 months later, after the Holloway and Edgar fight, they give the Zombie the title shot.
Yeah.
You never know, man.
You never know.
You never know. Or, because, Dana White, he likes the Zombie. And if the Zombie wins and if he's going to draw, like they might give it to him. But I believe Volk, he deserves it. You know what I mean? Like he should be fighting right now. He should be fighting Max Holloway, not Frankie Edgar. But, that's the fight that they gave him.
Yeah.
So Volk. But you know what's smart about Volk though? Volk's just like, fuck it. Like I'm going to still keep training. I'm going to be ready. And if one of these motherfuckers fall out, I'm going to hop right in and fight either one of these motherfuckers in Canada. And I'm going to fly up to Canada and, and sit in the crowd and watch these motherfuckers battle it out, and then I'm gonna walk into that ring, and and show them like, hey, I'm next. I got next. Like on the basketball court. When you hop on the basketball court. When I was down there, we never got to ball and shit because I don't know where you guys were at. Oh yeah, George wasn't even there.
Yeah.
George. He'd be ghosting and shit.
He'll ask you to come out. He'll plan everything, and then he'll just, of course, you'll just hang out with me.
I had to work, bro.
Like,
Yeah, I know. It's all good.
you
But
ain't
let's talk about Tyson, man. Have you talked to Tyson, man? Because he's been in recovery. Have you talked to him? And what's the
Yeah.
latest on him?
Yesterday, we both talked to him.
Yeah, I messaged him and just said, "How's Peru?" He's in Peru right now.
What?
He's in Peru with his missus.
Machu Picchu?
I don't know if it's Machu Picchu, but I saw him. He was climbing some really, really steep stairs. So I asked him, I was like, "How's the knee?" And a couple weeks ago, I sent him. He asked me for like a wrestling workout. I sent him like some like stance motion type drills and stuff like that he could do. And he hit me back and said they were great. He said he used it a couple times. So I usually just ask him like, "How's the knee? How's everything going with that? I hope it's going good."
He's a good dude, man. He's,
I see him training all the time. I see him rehabbing his knee, getting it back. So, Tyson's a guy, you wish nothing but the best for him.
He didn't say like when he's gonna start. He's still rehabbing basically, so
Yeah.
he's not ready to actually ever get into like full on training. How long do you think he's away from that?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I'd probably say maybe another couple months before he really got back in the swing of things like that. I think he's trying to address it and make sure it's 100% before he kickstarts everything and gets back going and stuff like that. Probably doing some soul searching in that.
Yeah, Tyson's a good dude. He's really professional and everything. Like he's the guy, like after practice, like sat there in his sweat, like writing down in his notepad, what he learned and what, the drills and things like that. He's a really good dude, man. True, professional to the core and trains hard. And yeah, but I hope he's enjoying Peru.
yeah, maybe he's on that ayahuasca.
Could be, mate. Could be.
You never know. Tyson seems like one of those. He seems like one of those dudes that be looking for the psychedelics. I don't know. I just get that vibe from him, with the long hair and everything.
He's bro. He's like
Spiritual.
all into good, he's spiritual. He's into good energy and stuff like that. So maybe he is, finding the way down there.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about the ayahuasca and stuff from people.
Yeah, you never, good stuff. When you hear good stuff, you want to do the good stuff, right? So you never know. Now, I heard Khalil's back. I seen some pictures of him, down in Phuket. When did he get back?
He's been back for
about a week and a half.
Yeah.
He's in Bangkok.
Yeah, he's a couple weeks he's been back, but he's been floating between Bangkok and here. So he's in Bangkok right now. He was here last week. He's in Bangkok right now, and he comes back, I think, this weekend for a couple of days and then back. And he's just, man, he's living it up. He's doing his thing, bro. Like, I hung out with him when I was in Bangkok a couple weeks ago, and we went out and stuff. And man, Khalil's he's killing it. He's like getting in now with like all these like famous Thai rappers, and he's doing his thing.
Yeah, because he's like famous right now, because I'm guaranteeing you that last fight is playing everywhere in Thailand, right? Because he came out in the traditional Thai stance and just whoop some ass and shit, right?
Yeah, the gym that he's training at, Pet G&D, like he's been training Muay Thai. Like that's how he came here. Is like he was initially just there in Bangkok training, and then he got that fight, and that's why he came to Tiger. And then we met him and stuff. But he's yeah, man, he's close with those guys too. Like from that gym, it's just where he trains a lot of Muay Thai at, and yeah, he loves Bangkok though, man. But everyone loves Bangkok's awesome. There's a lot to do, and yeah, he's hanging out with Thai superstars now.
Well, let me find out he's gonna be on like some karaoke show in Thailand and shit on Thai TV.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised, bro.
Like to me, I think Bangkok, it's cool and all, but I don't know, man. It's fun, but I don't think I could live in Bangkok. That place is.
It's fun for a weekend. It's fun for a night,
Yeah.
2 nights, and then I'm out.
I could.
Yeah.
I love that, bro.
Pollution, traffic,
Yeah.
rats, big that run around. It's just.
Hey, when I was in Bangkok, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I think for one of the FMDs or something. And I was walking down the street, the sidewalk, right? And then there was like a tub of water. You know, like sometimes there's like tubs of water on the sidewalk. And there was a rat, just like a big ass rat, just like hunched over the edge, drinking out that tub and shit hella fast. The tongue was going like a fucking snake and shit, right? And I was like, what the fuck is this country, man? Like just huge ass rats and shit, just fucking drinking the whole tub of water on the sidewalk. I was like, fuck this. But
That's why
yeah,
I love
Bangkok is fun. Bangkok is fun as fuck. But
there's nothing in
like
this
Frank,
country.
I'm with Frank, man. It's like 1-2 days, maybe 3, and you have your fun and you gotta get out of there because that place will swallow you up.
There was when we went for the Full Metal Dojo. This one guy, he went live on Instagram, and I saw it, and then he showed me the picture the next day. They were going down like an alley, like a back alley, just an alley. There was they ran up on a 15-foot python eating a cat. This wasn't like on a boat by the river in the jungle. This was in a back alley. There was a 15-foot python eating a cat. And like when it saw him, it kind of like got scared and like unrolled and kind of like slid off. And the cat was dead. But it was a 15-foot python in a back alley. You just like, that has no business being in a back alley in a big city like that. You know what I mean? Like, man, that could have been a dog. That could have been a human. So when I heard that, when he showed me that video, I was just like, that really changed. I would say, man, that's insane.
So like, Khalil, like when is he figuring like he's gonna come back? You know what I mean? Because Eric Anders, man, he just fought. And
Yeah, I saw that he deuced that guy out pretty quickly last weekend.
yeah, that fool was in India with he was fighting in Super Fight League last year in India. I remember him. He beat Radcliffe. He beat Radcliffe. And then after that, he got signed to the UFC, right? Or after that, he went to the Contenders and won that and got to sign to UFC. Now he's just getting starched by everybody.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure when. I haven't really spoke to him about that, like when he's going to fight again and stuff. But I would imagine in the next couple of months he'll probably have a fight lined up.
Yeah, man, I'm interested to see like who they match him up with. Like who do you see? Like if you were the matchmaker, who would you like to see him fight? You know what I mean? Like who's on the radar? It must be a guy in the top 15 at least, right?
I have no idea, bro.
Yeah. But somebody's been in a while. I think it doesn't make sense for him to fight somebody who's like who's young and upcoming and hasn't had many fights. You know what I mean? He's had,
especially with
how many fights has he had in the UFC now? 8?
Most of them. Most of his fights have been in the UFC.
I want to say, is it 8, maybe 10 he's had in the UFC? So for him,
most of his career has been in the UFC.
For him to fight somebody who's young and has only had 2-3 fights really doesn't make sense. It makes more sense for him to fight somebody that's seasoned, that's been in it a while and stuff like that. So
he's hot right now. Like you think about his last fight and how much attention, and then like going on the Joe Rogan podcast, you would think that definitely his stock has risen, and they will give him somebody like that. But who knows, man? You never know what's going to go on in the UFC.
So most likely he's not gonna fight on that China card because that China card, got the title on that shit too. He could be a co-main event on that.
Yeah.
But that's probably too close to now because I think that's less than 2 months away. So, usually they would know by now if they're gonna have a fight. So maybe Korea. I'm hearing Korea is gonna happen on the end of November, beginning of or middle of December.
In Seoul,
the middle of December.
Oh, outside of Seoul, it's another city. Yeah, middle of December. Like, there's 2 dates that are not determined right now by the UFC. And from what I heard is like November 23rd is the first date.
Well, hopefully not.
And the second date is December 21st. Those are both fight nights that they have not announced like where they're going. And I've just heard rumors that it's Korea is going to be one of those dates. And if the Zombie doesn't get like a title shot or a number 1 contender fight, he will be the main event of that card.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Korean Superboy will fight on it too.
Oh man!
Even though you haven't seen him for a while, I think he's not even in the military right now. I think
Korean Superboy.
He has to wait, huh?
Korean Superboy.
He has to wait to do
yeah.
stuff.
That's your boy.
Yeah, I
man.
think he got like denied because there's too many people waiting for like the position that he wants to, you know, go into,
Can't
like
they
for the
just
military.
let the guy fight?
He's the Korean Super Bowl.
Hey, he's doing his country good.
No, man, it's just like it's like a desk job, but you just serving for, you know, it's for athletes basically.
Who's
Like,
who's the Chinese guy that just got signed?
I don't even know.
Oh, Glenn.
Oh, that's a Korean cat.
Oh, the Korean guy.
Yeah.
Got
This
signed.
motherfucker's a Chinese guy. Yeah, he's a Korean dude. Yeah, he just got a fight. He's gonna fight in China
Yeah, I saw that.
against Sapervek Saperpov or some shit like that. Some Dagestani
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah, that's
No. The other Korean dude is gonna fight Sapervek Saperpov light heavyweight.
Yes.
And then the dude that fought Park, the dude that fought Glenn, he's fighting Alexander Hernandez.
John Park or John Koo Park or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw he took a fight or he had signed. So nice guy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
talented.
man. He's fucking good, man. He's fucking he punches hard, man. He's good.
Yeah, he does.
He has like a very simple skill set, but he's just powerful with what he's got, his tools. So I'm interested to see what he can do in the UFC, you know. So it is what it is. Hey, let's get it before we bounce out. Let's get into this card this weekend, man. UFC 239, John Jones versus Thiago Santos. Did you see Thiago Santos in the interview? He looked like Eazy-E and shit.
Yeah, he had a Loke song.
Yeah, the looks like you look like a G, huh?
He had a Loke song, bro.
I thought he looked like Eazy-E, man. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, Eazy-E's fighting John Jones.
Yeah, that's funny as shit.
You know? And but what do you think? You know, I'm pretty sure you're thinking the same as me. John Jones is probably favored like crazy. You know what the line is right now? It's minus 800.
Yeah,
Which
bro.
just for what I think is that's a lot, right? Like I'm not really into betting, but I know minus 800, it's a big favorite, right, for a fight. So if I was betting, I would just put money on Thiago Santos. Why not?
Man, I
Because in
think
fighting, you never know.
not to not, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because if you watched all his other
I
fights,
think to beat John Jones, you just have to go forward. Like you
yeah,
have to be smart, but you just have to not give a fuck about losing, and you have to go forward and literally just take the fight to him and try to take his head off. Like
That's
I
it.
always thought that if Anthony Johnson fought him, he could beat him. Like just
Yeah.
because of the style. But that's to me, that's like, and obviously I may be wrong, but in my opinion, for him to beat him, bro, he has to not respect obviously respect him, but not respect and give him his distance and play his game. He's just got to go forward and swing for the fence and try to knock his head off or hit him with that kick that he has.
That's what that's what everybody thought that Anthony Smith was gonna do. Anthony Smith was gonna go in there and go crazy and then go forward, but he didn't do that, and he just tried to play like a game plan style against John Jones, and that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna happen, man. Not the John Jones of today. The John Jones of today
The fight that
will not fuck around.
Anthony Smith or what's his name? Anthony Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I saw him fight Ozdemir or whatever in the first round or two before he submitted him, I think he submitted him, or maybe TKO or something. I can't remember, but I just remember thinking his striking is hard and he hits hard and kicks hard, but I thought he was quite not kind of a bit timid in his striking, whereas someone Anthony Johnson, Rumble just trying to take your dome off, and I feel like that Santos is kind of like that as well. So I think that he has a better chance. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that you're exactly right, but but what I was saying about Anthony Smith, he should have went in there with that game plan of just going in there and going wild, instead of trying to play that game.
You're not gonna beat John Jones playing that game. That's some foreigner going to fight Saenchai and thinking that he's gonna outpoint him. Or something like that. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, especially in Thailand, right? So, what can you do? But I'm watching this fight, man, no matter what. I'm excited to see.
It's a great card. I think the Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes is going to be good. I just really like the way that Nunes fights, man. She just fights. She's hard. She just fights hard, and she's got great hands, and she's slick with her hands too. And I know Holly's like very very tough, but I just think
Holly Holm upsets her. Valentina Shevchenko goes back up, fights, and wins the belt.
All right. Well, George has the UFC all planned out, you know, and I kind of like how that sounds, though. You know, that sounds kind of nice. If we could get another a double champ, but yeah, I agree with you. I think Holly Holmes has a big chance, but like Frank says, man, you just love how Nunez fights, man. She fights like, you know, when you see those videos on World Star and you see those some girls fight each other, they're from the hood and shit, and then that one girl is just like piecing the other bitch up, just like bing, 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 bing. That's how Amanda Nunez fights. You know, she fights like that.
So
she's gifted.
Yeah, she'd give me a hiding, like I said before, and I truly, and she's just slick, and she can make it look easy. But like George said, I wouldn't mind that other one happening either. Holly Holm upsetting her, and then Valentina going back up and taking that belt as well. So
look at this. They're like so similar. They're both 5'8". They both have a 69-inch reach, right? Of course, Nunez has more significant strikes. You know what I mean? Nunez has more takedowns, but you know, Frank, you know what's up? Holly Holmes is southpaw.
Yeah.
You know, southpaw. You know what I mean? Like you gotta watch out for the southpaws.
I think Nunez can go both ways, if I'm not mistaken.
She could, maybe. I don't know. I think when you're throwing heat like she does, it doesn't matter which way you go.
She throws
blouses.
Accuracy too.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man.
I think the one I'm looking forward to is gonna be the Masvidal versus.
Yeah, that's
what I love Masvidal, man. That dude is like,
I like him.
Both of them are cool. You know, like they're both entertaining. They're both entertaining in their different ways. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Ben Askren is like that school teacher that you don't like, but he just talks shit to you and everything is true. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's like that type of dude. And Masvidal is like Scarface, like reborn into a fighter.
Yeah, I think
you know what I mean. Like,
event, bro. I'm excited for that fight.
It's gonna be good.
Man, they should have made this a main event somewhere. I thought.
Yeah, it could have been for sure.
Yeah, I thought they should, but this is the biggest card of the year, man. What do you think of the chances, man, of Masvidal, you know, fending off Ben Askren's wrestling, man? Because, you know, do you think Masvidal is as strong and powerful as like a Robbie Lawler? You know, like how Robbie Lawler just lifted dude up.
I don't think he's like that strong, bro. But I think that he's like very skilled. He's very technical. I think that he has good wrestling defense. But who knows, bro? Like honestly, because I think that like Ben Askren fighting Robbie, like, yeah, it was definitely controversial, and it definitely could have been a joke or it couldn't have been a joke. Who the hell knows? But I feel like it didn't like satisfy my need to know how good he really was, you know, against top level competition. So I think there's still like unanswered questions that are going to come out in this fight.
Man, so do you pick Askren to beat Masvidal?
I don't pick either one. I honestly don't give a shit who wins. I just want to see the fight, and I hope it goes longer than a round.
Well, I think it's gonna end in the first round.
So do I. That's why I say I hope it goes longer than a round, but who knows, man? I have no idea. I honestly don't have a pick. I have no idea.
Do you think whoever wins gets the title shot?
You think about you think about Damian Maia, like he took him down, you know, and of course Askren's jiu-jitsu is not like Maia's, but his wrestling is much better than Maia's, and his grappling is it's not like jiu-jitsu grappling, but it's like wrestling grappling and holding position and punching and shit like that. So man, I have no idea. Like if Masvidal gets taken down, he's going to be in a world of trouble. But he's very athletic, and you know he really embraces wrestling as well. And who knows, man? I don't have a pick.
Frank, when you analyze Masvidal's wrestling, you know, from the fights that you've seen of him, you know, how do you like assess it?
I think he's like George said. He's got good takedown defense. So he's athletic, but I think for a traditional wrestler, that you can do that. You can have good takedown defense and stuff like that. But I've always said for a guy like Askren, you've never seen somebody like him in wrestling before. So he's one of a kind. He's very unorthodox. He's hard to train for. To mimic somebody like a Ben Askren in the wrestling room, it's kind of unheard of. You know, they did Flow Wrestling did a documentary on him, and they interviewed Tom Brands, who's the head coach at Iowa, and John Smith, who's the head coach at Oklahoma State. He won 6 world titles. He's the best to ever do it, in my opinion. And he said he used to coach against him when he was onto the scene and he was figuring out this unorthodox style of wrestling. It was like watching kind of history be made. And that's what he said. He said he was on the verge of something great because nobody had ever seen it before. Nobody had seen somebody rolling across their back, funking, passing the leg, coming up, everything like that. I honestly would say if he was the wrestler of Khabib, he would cook a Khabib because he's so scrambly, he's so long and gangly. He can drape over your head. He could lock
You
your
can be
knees.
like this and like
He can
pull
roll
your leg
through.
in.
He can come out the back door while you're worried about this hand. He's draped over here with his foot, and it's something you just can't. It's so hard to mimic and train for. So I think that would be the one issue. But I think if he can limit it and keep it very solid, if he stuffs the takedown, just keep him in front of him, stuff. Make the ref stand him up, make it boring. Then that's
I
different.
agree
Then
with
he
that.
can win.
Because it's not like the first, second, third shot that Askren's going to get you with. It's going to be like hanging onto your leg and pulling you around and then doing something else. It's going to be
It's
the
just
third,
very
fourth, and
exhausting.
fifth.
It's very,
Yeah.
it just wears on you. It's exhausting. I mean, you see what he did to Lima. And Lima's, in my opinion, the best 170 pounder in the world. He's one of the best strikers in the world, and he just got him to the ground and just made it that, and that's all that it was. And he couldn't do nothing about it. And as much as I wanted him to win that one, that just showed you right there that his style of wrestling is just something different. And for what it can do for MMA and stuff like that, it's just different. It's something that's hard to train for. So I'll be excited to see if he can execute it how he wants, or if it doesn't go as planned. You know what I mean? So for me, that one's going to be good to watch. You always want the wrestler to win, but I think I'd like to see Masvidal win that one.
Yeah, I like them both, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. But I think Askren's gonna be champ, man. I think that like what you just explained to me right now convinces me that he's gonna be the champion.
Bro,
Like no one is gonna have on top of that, he has a fucking chin. He can take punches.
Man, look
You know
at
what I
his
mean?
body.
Look at his chin.
He's a gangly white guy.
He's got a big jaw.
Yeah, with he used to have a fro, and you'd see pictures of him in high school and college, and he didn't have a good muscle tone, but he'd go out there and this kid would be ranked number 3 in the country, and he would just beat the piss out of this kid 15-2 and then pin him. Just it is what it is. Some people can get away with it and do that. He's one of those guys that can get away and do that. I couldn't do that.
And he's very mentally strong.
Yes, he can talk shit, and as much as he's bad at it, it gets the message across. It gets the point across. I think he'd be a nightmare for a lot of guys. I think he'd be a nightmare for Usman. I think he'd be a nightmare for
The funny thing is, there's no secret. Like, he's just like, I'm going to go across the cage. I'm going to grab you and take you down and then beat you. That's literally what he does. There's no secret sauce that he's got going on or hidden training footage or some shit like that. What he's going to do. He ain't going to go out there and strike with you. He's going to go take you down.
Yeah, I think he's gonna become champ, man. I think he's gonna beat Masvidal, even though I do like Masvidal and I would like for him to win and fight for the title. But I think he's gonna beat Masvidal. He's gonna go beat whoever. I guess Usman's gonna fight whoever wins this fight most likely. I think he goes and beats Usman, and then Khabib he wins his fights, and they're gonna have no other choice but for them to fight each other, both undefeated for the fucking 165-pound title right there. That's what you got. That's awesome. What I see happening. And yeah, that's my fucked up prediction right there. But you know who else is coming back now on this card too is Luke Rockhold. Yeah, he's gonna make his light heavyweight debut against Jan Blachowicz. Yeah, and Jan Blachowicz ain't no joke either, man. This is a good fucking fight. I just wonder, is Luke he just destroyed his body too much at 185, you know, to even actually perform at 205. We'll find out. What do you guys think?
No idea, man. I don't know much about his opponent, but I watched some video of Luke the other day talking about how he was rejuvenated and his body feels good. So we'll see.
You know what would be a good fight? If Khalil fought the winner of this fight.
Yeah, that would actually. Yeah,
So, you know, maybe you might have to watch this one carefully,
I will. I will.
you know, and see what happens. Your boy Michael Chiesa, he's
Versus
fighting Diego Sanchez.
Yeah,
Like-
yes.
Like Diego Sanchez is fighting Michael Chiesa, man. Is Michael Chiesa fighting Diego Sanchez going backwards or forwards? I don't understand. Didn't he just beat Carlos Condit? Oh, he
Yeah.
did beat Carlos Condit, right? And now he's fighting Diego Sanchez. Like he's just fighting all the Jackson Wink guys.
Yeah, I think he definitely wins that. But bro, Sanchez is tough as shit. You can't ever count that guy out.
Yeah, you can't, man. Like
should
something
be-
he's taking, like it allows him to fucking get into all these wars and just be the same.
He beat my boy Koscheck. Remember
Yeah,
when
that
they-
was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Man.
This
Man,
dude's been fighting for like 30 years, and he
Oh,
looks like he's 25.
in 2004, I remember we used to all get around in college and watch it at my friend's house. And he's still around.
That's back when they locked old boy in the sauna and they wouldn't let him out in the sauna. Remember that? He was kicking up my fuss.
Yeah, they did some fucked up shit back then. You know who else is on this card? Gilbert Melendez is on this card. On the prelims.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah,
deal.
there's some this is the best card of the year, man. You know, it's hard to miss this one. Hopefully no one gets injured and no one gets misses weight or whatever. You know, there's always something that happens during fight week that fucks up the card a little bit. But I think this one is gonna stay intact, man. It seems like.
Hopefully. Nobody breaks.
Yeah, hopefully.
ACL or
Man, who's out there training right now, man? I've been seeing like a bunch of names at Tiger like recently, like right after the tryouts was over and during the trials there was some, you know, a bunch of UFC guys. I think Kutalaba is out there. I saw him. Is he Kutalaba out there?
Yeah, he's
He's
Kutalava's here.
That's a big boy, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nordine's getting ready for Abu Dhabi. Maribek will be back.
Nordine's there. Is he there? I didn't know that.
Maribek will be back in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. He was in Azerbaijan. Now he's in Turkey. Then he'll come here.
He has a fight signed up for Abu Dhabi, right?
He's fighting a Brazilian. And then Timofey fights in the semis of the one championship next month. So
Yeah, they changed his opponent, right?
he did.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I still think
That's
Timofey.
fucked
will knock him
up.
out.
Yeah, Timothy, I think he's got a free ticket to the finals right there.
I don't want to say that.
That's gonna be
I'm
fun.
not gonna wood, but man,
Yeah,
that dude.
I agree with you, bro.
He's in good form right now. So I'm excited for him, man. He's such a nice dude. He's so nice, so respectful. Never shows up late, always early. You know what I mean? So it's a good
Tim Nasty?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the
Tim
sauna
Nasty.
early. I was in the sauna. He's like, Coach. I was like, what's up? I'm like, how are you? So
Hey, does he know that his nickname is Tim Nasty? That's what they call him on Twitter and shit.
I think somebody called him nasty. George calls him nasty news.
Nasty Yukin or something. Like that.
Yeah. So he's good to have him.
He's funny, bro.
We got some one championship guys. Trials just ended, so that was good.
It's you guys got so many guys out now compared to like even a year and a half or a year ago. You got so many guys and girls getting ready for fights that your team is just gigantic. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Loma's getting ready for Hickman right
yeah,
now.
it's hard. Oh, she?
Yeah.
Where's she fighting?
She's fighting Muay Thai for IFMA,
Okay,
Ben-
okay.
the organization. And then we got Kev Foster back. He's from England. He was 2014 tryout winner with myself. He's back hitting the Muay Thai circuit.
Oh, is he back? He joined the team. He's
Yeah,
back
he's
with the team.
He's out of Dubai. He's put his private security contracts away for a while, and he's back fighting now.
All right. Well, good luck to Kev Foster, man, and on his career resurgence. We could use that word.
Yeah,
All right.
research.
All right.
When
All
you coming
right.
back out?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Whenever I feel like there's something is worth going down there to like investigate or or when George is there.
Oh, we just had Shaman Morales here.
Yeah, I
Shaman,
spoke with him. Yeah, yeah.
Shaman was working with us, and he was at Phuket Fight Club with Leo working there. So it was good to have Shaman around. Super nice guy. Good fight for him. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So he fights, I believe, next weekend. Bruno
Yeah.
fights at the end of the month. Christoph fights next weekend. So we got Trent fights this weekend with Mo Fakardine out in
Yeah.
Warriors.
Abu Dhabi Warriors. That'll be good.
Hey, did you are you going to Macau?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be there. I don't know. I haven't found out yet, but I might go out to Macau for this one. I never been to Macau. I heard it's pretty nice, so maybe I might make the trip out there. But it actually, I don't know for sure though. Who knows, man? We'll see what happens. All right. All right.
Hey, by the
Well-
way, can you send a box of noodles over?
It should be on the way.
Oh, it's in the works right now. You know, like how the UFC does it. Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, the matchup is in the works." You know, like it's in the works, so don't worry about that too much.
Today, actually.
Oh,
Yes.
we'll shut this down, and then we'll talk afterwards. All right, about extracurricular activities.
Good to see you.
All right. All right.